Throughout U.S. history, America has had a major role in foreign wars and negotiations. To assess national identity, we must ask how U.S. involvement in international crises had a crucial impact on American society and beliefs in the 20th century. During the 1990s, there were 4 international crises that heavily impacted national identity. These 4 foreign interventions would influence American values and beliefs. These 4 international conflicts were the Spanish-American War, World War I, World War II, and finally the tensions of the Cold War. The U.S. went to war with Spain in 1898 to assert their racial superiority and help liberate Cuba from Spanish rule. Many Americans felt as though they had a God-given mission to expand territory as well as spread democratic values. Many of the ideas for military expansion came from the religious and moral idealism, including the assumption of racial superiority, and that the English-speaking race had a destiny to transform people and their traditions of other countries. This included Protestant missionaries who felt they had a religious mission to spread Christianity. As a result of the war, the U.S. gained Puerto Rico, Guam, and the Philippines that would help them enter Asian markets and become a dominant country in the world market. By 1914, the U.S. entered World War I. Women quit domestic work and helped out in factories. Regarding minorities, blacks migrated north during the Great Migration to find jobs and economic opportunities. This collective war effort resulted in an increase in American nationalism as they fought to spread democratic ideas. Woodrow Wilson would justify American involvement in the war by describing it as a crusade to make the world safe for democracy. Many civil liberties were suppressed during the war by the Espionage and Sedition Acts, which were enforced to limit the opposition to the war. World War I changed America's view of their role in foreign affairs as they became seen as a world power. In 1939, the U.S. found itself in World War II. World War II's mobilization of American society to help the war effort led to diversity in the workforce. President Roosevelt authorized Executive Order 8802, which forbade racial discrimination in federal defense industries. Mass industrialization for the war increased domestic manufacturing and employment. It provided new opportunities for women and minorities and allowed them to improve their social and economic status. Wartime experiences such as the attack on Pearl Harbor caused tensions with Japanese Americans at home, which led to an executive order to relocate Japanese Americans to internment camps. The U.S. emerged as the most powerful nation in the world that accelerated influence and prestige. There have been debates on when the Cold War started, but it is often credited to 1947. The Cold War was a series of tensions between democratic and communist countries, between the 2 global superpowers, the United States and the Soviet Union. These international tensions would reflect in domestic politics, ideas, and culture. The U.S. favored democratic capitalism, self-governance, and freedom of religion, whereas the Soviet Union favored totalitarian government and state-mandated atheism. The U.S. involvement in the Cold War was to defend democratic, capitalist values against communism and furthermore against the godless Soviet Union.